Sweet Daddy, you got it.
Right one. That ain't the right one. Where's the right one? There it is. There it is. Yep.
Welcome in, everybody. Football. You know me, I'm sporting my Josh Allen. I think I'm going to keep wearing jerseys on this one until I run out.
Yeah. We do that on the baseball show. I kind of thought I should probably do that on the football show too, but I'm a bad person, so I just haven't.
Yeah, you got a nice collection of jerseys as well, right?
I do. Probably should maybe do that thing. Oops. Fair enough. Well, I know for Saturday.
Oopsie dazzles.
Yeah, oopsie doozles. It's fine.
Doozles.
Yes. So, yes, welcome into Football. This is your bi-weekly, I guess, deep dive into what this league is that we have. And just kind of generally giving you our takes that are not based on a lot of analytics. They're very gut feely. What you're seeing instead of what you're reading. Because there's plenty of those out there. If you want those, you can go there. That's perfect.
You just make up a word. You said gut feely.
Yeah, gut feely. Yeah. Like you act like you haven't grown up in Pittsburgh. This is exactly what you do. You make words, and generally speaking, they kind of work out. They pan out usually, and if you don't, you just kind of fake it till you get there, and things are fine. It's fine.
It is what it is. Yeah.
It's all fine. It's fine. It's good. It's fine. All right. So,
what the hell?
I don't know. It's like you had like an electronic fart or something like that. I don't know what that was.
Yeah. I moved, and the soundboard or whatever kind of moved a little bit.
Okay.
Scratch.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, anyone that is kind of new to this, technically the first show of the week is Saturday, and the second show is Tuesday. So it's a little backwards kind of feeling, but whatever, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't think too much into it. So, on Wednesday, basically, it's going to be going over, what we grabbed from waivers, what we missed out on waivers, kind of cover the week that is, talk about Thursday a little bit and, what we're kind of expecting, maybe kind of go over our, maybe our positional MVPs for the week. Thought that would be a fun little addition to the show, just kind of just add some wrinkles to it. So, I guess we'll start with you here from a waiver / free agency pickup situation here. What did you do?
So you want to go waivers first? I thought you wanted to kind of recap the week.
Nah.
Then, okay. Start with waivers. I didn't. The season's too new for me to really invest a waiver pick on someone. So I plan to do the 3 a.m. shopping, but I just told you, I had that long schedule. That's why I had to miss the X and O's.
Right.
3 a.m. I couldn't wait it out. I was out. So I didn't get a chance to look at anyone until today. A couple people I really wanted was the Rams receiver, that Tyron Johnson.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because when Puka went out, I mean, and being that Puka's now on IR, and Sean McVay just said, I guess earlier today that he might be out more than 4.
Yep.
Yeah, he could be out more than 4 weeks, and it seemed like you would think that the targets would just go straight to Robinson. What's Robinson's first name? Demarcus Robinson. But for some reason, Stafford was peppering that Johnson dude. I was just like, okay, he used to play for Tampa Bay. He was like the 9th receiver on that squad.
Yeah.
Stafford turned him into an instant star like immediately. So I was like, for our league and PPR, and even if he don't get a lot of yards, he's going to get a lot of targets because Stafford just loves throwing the pill. And I was looking for him.
Put a pin in that because that is going to come up a little later for me too. So go ahead.
Okay. Who else was out there? Because in our league, it was so many people that was drafted. The typical waiver wire is not the typical in the other leagues I got.
There was 200 people that got drafted.
Yeah. So and backups to the backups got drafted. So there wasn't too much out there to pick up that wasn't already snagged up by somebody. Like somebody probably had them sitting on their bench. They didn't play them, but all they're going to do is take them off their bench and put them in their starting lineup. But outside of that was available. Who else was available? Like Jordan Mason, of course, wasn't available. He was drafted.
Right.
There wasn't too many people that was available, but like I said, the season's too new for me to just totally give up on someone.
No, right.
Anyone that I did grab, it took me a while to even grab them because I had to look a couple times, and because I done made that mistake so many times where I gave up on someone too early and they end up becoming a stud. I remember, of course, CPAT, Cordell Patterson, that year that you got him, I gave up on him after like week 1 or 2, and you snagged him up, and he's the fantasy champion. So
yeah,
I don't want that happening again. So I can't remember what was really out there. I picked up Josh Reynolds because he was getting more targets in Denver for some reason. I didn't expect that. So I picked him up. I picked up Mr. Mac Hollins that loves to abuse me. He's in Buffalo now. And I don't know. Josh Allen found him for a touchdown. I'm thinking to myself, can that trend continue? Because Curtis Samuel definitely didn't pan out to be what people thought he might be.
Nope.
Jury's still out.
Never does.
He never does. Yeah. So, but the jury's still out on that. So I picked up him, and I did the same thing you decided. I seen that you decided that you don't really need 3 quarterbacks. You'll when it's time to go get a quarterback, you're going to get them off the wire, and then when it's time to let them go, you're going to drop them. So I seen you grab Tyreek Hill. So
Tyreek Hill. I grabbed Tyreek Hill off the waiver wire.
Not Tyreek. Taysom Hill.
Worry about your team, you son of a bitch. I'll talk about my team, okay?
No, but I decided, and as terrible as Will Levis looked, I said, man, I don't need to hold a spot for him. So I grabbed a second running back from out of Green Bay, that Emmanuel Wilson guy. And I imagine that they're going to run the ball a lot more because Malik Willis is trash until Jordan Love gets back. So,
yeah,
I figure I can get a little couple of points out of him. So that's all I can recall grabbing, those 3 players. Everybody else, I'm still in the wait and see mode,
Well, so folks know kind of what is actually out there on our waiver, right? I'll go over what was either, claimed via a waiver or
via an actual waiver pick. Yeah.
Right. So let's see. So I actually picked up Luke McCaffrey. Put him on the bench, see what happens. And as you mentioned, I did pick up Taysom Hill. I dropped Bo Nix because it doesn't really look that great. I will worry about the bye week when the bye week comes.
When the bye week comes.
I looked and saw the wire, and there are quarterbacks on there that I can stream for a week, so that's fine.
Yeah, that brings me to. Sorry to cut you, but that brings me to. I did want David Carr instead of Will Levis, but someone wavered.
Derek Carr.
So,
What? Jesus Christ! What is wrong? Are you having a
no, what
today?
is wrong with my? Yeah. I'm on some. Yeah, I don't really usually make mistakes on names, but yeah, Derek Carr. I'm sorry, but yeah, I wanted Carr, and yeah, he wasn't there. I mean, I didn't want Carr to the point. Huh?
Said nobody ever.
Nobody ever what?
No, like I wanted Derek Carr. Said nobody ever.
I just was thinking to myself, he's better than Will Levis, as a replacement for those bye weeks.
That's like saying cancer is better than AIDS. It's like, well, I guess maybe.
That's a good analogy there, but yeah,
it's dark as all hell. But
yeah.
So the boy, I do help out the kiddo in the league because it's his second year. So I made sure before because every morning he gets up and he goes and runs, and then he goes to college, which weird sentence. And he is a Puka manager and also a Njoku manager, so he's getting smoked twice here. So I asked him, okay, so Puka is hurt. What do you do here? He's like, well, I just would replace him, right? I'm like, kinda. What do you think you should do though? And I was like, oh, what do you do here? He's like, well, I would just pick up somebody. I'm like, no. Well, yes, but no. So I had to explain to him the whole IR part of it.
Put him on IR and you can open up a spot.
Yeah. So I actually, because this guy was on my radar, and this is that pin thing I was going to tell you about. Devon Vele from Denver.
Yeah.
So he was targeted 8 times, caught 8 passes for only 40 yards. So not, oh my God, an amazing thing, but it seems like Bo has a eye for him.
Yeah.
And in this league, I mean, that 8 for 40, that's 12.
That's 12 points. Yeah. Right?
And that's not even including any first downs, anything else, So
8 targets is, if I see anybody with 8 targets, that's,
I mean, and
that's
8
an eye opener.
8 targets and 8 receptions. So
yeah,
not only did he get targeted, he caught everything, which, mind you, only 40 yards, so they were probably in the flats, but still, So I had him pick him up. He was on my agenda, but I chose McCaffrey instead. I believe more in him. Funny enough, your Tyler Johnson guy, he actually did get picked up, not off of waivers, just as a free agent pickup.
Free agent.
Yeah. So Romeo Dobbs was picked up. I don't really know why you do that.
No, I mean, if Jordan Love didn't get hurt, Dobbs was my number. I was thinking about burning my waiver if Love was still intact and he was not hurt. As soon as dude dropped Dobbs, I was like, that is definitely going to be my waiver pick. But no, as soon as he was hurt, it was just like I no longer have the interest in Dobbs anymore.
And funny enough, a lot of the analysts are saying the same thing that I'm kind of worried about and thinking, but it looks like Jalen Reed is going to be the only play to play in Green Bay because they manufacture touches with him. So
yeah, he's more than just a regular receiver. Like he does, like he's like that offense is Deebo Samuel. Like he does all types of little screens.
And I'm a Jalen Reed owner. So, but I'm very, very worried.
Cautious about
which kind of reflects how I did, because I really wasn't really needing to do much of anything, but I saw that and I'm just like, man, I need something to look at. I don't want to just have to put him in. I want something to weigh my options with. So Jeff Wilson Jr. got picked up, and that's because of Mostert. And this is before Mostert got announced as out, and before A-Chain was announced as a game time decision. They're both questionable, but Jeff Wilson Jr. was picked up, so good pickup there. I don't have a problem with that. Keaton Mitchell was picked up to be put on the IR, which is perfectly fine. I don't mind that. Marshawn Lloyd, the other running back, but he has a hamstring injury, so I'm really not. He was a lingering hamstring all through camp, so I'm not really sure why you would do. I mean, Jalen Tolbert was dropped for him, so fine. It's kind of like meh for a meh. But now here are the actual claims that happened. So Alexander Madison got pulled up. Now,
yeah, I wanted him.
Here's the thing. Here's why I think that was a bad move. Because if you didn't know, his wife literally went into labor like right before game time. And there is a idea out there that they manufactured all of these touches for him because like, hey,
celebration type.
Right. Anyone that's watched this guy play, he is only good because someone in front of him is better.
Yep.
This was an absolute blowout game. I am more than willing to admit that the other team on the other end of that, they were getting the break speed off of him. They're like, dude, I don't even care. Fine, do whatever. So I think his stats are probably a little overflated for someone to burn their priority on him. Okay, fair enough. Alan Lazard got claimed, which is wild to me as well. Derek Carr got claimed once again, probably chasing those points, but Deshaun Watson was dropped for him. I feel like, okay, fine. Jalen Naylor, I don't know, chasing points. I feel like that's
someone actually claimed Naylor.
Yeah. Like funny enough, Derek Carr got claimed. There was no other claims for him. Naylor got claimed. No other claims for him. Tank Bigsby got claimed. Nobody else there. Juwan Jennings, once again, nobody claimed. And Alec Pierce, nobody claimed him. So they all got picked up.
Want Pierce.
They all got picked up, but those, I don't know. Pierce definitely paper chasing. Bigsby, Clayton Bigsby.
Bigsby.
Yeah.
Chappelle.
Yeah. Bigsby sucks, dude. He's really bad.
I think and a lot of people don't even know this or that didn't really watch all the highlights for the game. The only reason why Bigsby got any run is because ETN fumbled at the goal line, and they wanted to kind of like punish him, so they was giving Bigsby the ball. So yeah, that's not going to happen every week.
No,
and he was talking about Will needing help. Will scored the highest points. He blew my ass out the water. He scored the most points out of everybody in the league. So he's doing okay. We was making jokes. So when he was drafting, we were snickering and what kind of pick was that?
What you doing? Yeah.
Little do we know he had a master plan or something because he scored more than all of us. Yeah.
The other few pickups were Matt Collins, like you mentioned, Josh Reynolds, like you did there, and Manny Wilson. So, and to give you an idea here, because I have 2 leagues, I did actually make some moves in this other one, and funny enough, the team is very, very similar. I actually picked up that Vele guy. I picked up Jeff Wilson because I have A-Chain in both of them there. Now, there is somebody that you may want to kind of take a look at here. The Jordan Atkins guy from Cleveland. He is their tight end. He's now going to be there because I did grab him in this other league. And funny enough, I do have Demarcus Robinson in this league because I'm like, all right, let's go. I drafted him, so yay.
What
But
what?
Njoku's out for probably a while.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. What's the status of Njoku? I know he
I
wasn't
mean,
playing this week, but
they already ruled him out today.
dang, they ain't even get to Friday yet. They
Right.
just said
So
we're done.
like hearing that, I'm expecting an IR stint, honestly. But
Yeah.
this is always a fun waiver week to watch everyone scramble and go nuts because people are overreacting. They're freaking out. Now, mind you, there's a lot of storylines like CMAC. Oof.
I'm pissed. I am totally pissed. I'm pissed about that because I got him in another league, and thank goodness I had drafted Jordan Mason too. So I just put Jordan Mason in, and I ended up winning that league by 2 points. So every point was critical. But in another league, I had Mason in. For some reason, my dumb ass dropped him and picked up Curtis Samuel because I'm thinking, C-Mac, he's not going to get hurt. He's not going to. They wait until right before the game to say he's not playing. I'm like, what? And then they asked Mason, and he said he knew Friday night he was playing. I'm like, what?
So
are they like purposely doing this to fantasy owners or
no? So here's and I saw a lot of people up in arms about that, and I will say this. They weren't sure kind of what's going on with him. They were kind of playing it by ear a little bit. But just because you're not starting does not mean that you're not going to be in that game in a prominent role. Just because you are starting, you are getting the first reps of that game. Obviously, there's some gamesmanship that goes into play. I get that. But I don't think there's anything wrong with telling Jordan Mason, hey, listen, man, you're going to be starting here because, C-Mac's banged up. We don't know what your workload's going to be yet. We'll kind of play that by ear. And then, come to find out, he probably pregame tested it and was like, God damn, I am hurt. And then they're like, all right, man, well, good thing. Because they were probably expecting him to be on a snap count at, bare minimum, right? So Jordan was going to get to play. So you're not just going to throw this guy in. He was probably getting first team reps in, practices on Friday and Saturday and, the walkthroughs and things like that. So everyone's up in arms. And it's like, guess what? The Niners don't owe you shit at all. They don't owe you anything. They are allowed to do whatever as long as it's not like CMAC did not have an injury designation. They don't have a probable tag anymore. They have a questionable and an
out. There's no.
He was questionable since.
No, there's questionable, there's doubtful, and then there's out. But there used to be probable. Yeah, and they got rid of that. Yeah.
I forgot about doubtful. Yeah. And he was questionable until he tested it, and he was like, "Oof, no." Hard.
And then another thing I think that goes into injuries that a lot of people don't take into consideration is how good the player is or how good they perform depends on how quickly the other person comes back. Now, if Mason would have got in there and stunk up the joint,
right,
it would be like no questions asked. He's coming. The CMC's coming back this week. But because Mason did so well, they're probably saying to CMC, hey, man, you could take a little bit more time if you want to.
Eli Mitchell, too. He's an IR himself. So it's like,
yeah,
like they're kind of like, well, Jordan, can you act like another Jordan of another sport and not the baseball version of Jordan?
Yeah.
So I have no problem with that. There's so many people that are pissy and yelling about it. I'm like, just because you're not labeled the starter does not mean that you're not going to get the majority of snaps. You
can't get mad at those people that are mad. I mean, when you burn the number one pick, you're in capital, because anyone that got CMC, it was your number one pick. I mean, people get upset. I mean, you can't play your number one pick. Wouldn't you be upset?
It wasn't necessarily the fantasy people. It was the sports betting people. Now, obviously, there are the fantasy people in there too, but it's also like, he's had a questionable tag all week. And you saw the blurbs that were coming through. You got to pivot. You have to have an option to set up for yourself, knowing that they are the Monday night game. You need to have something in there. Now, I get it. It is the last game of the week. It is very, very hard. And they didn't announce until right before the game.
Right before,
but
yeah.
That's kind of how you have to. That's the unfortunate, ugly part about fantasy. Sometimes it does not always roll your way. I get it. It is a bad beat, and it's very, very hard to pivot off of McCaffrey. But if you're watching,
So when I drafted him, I made sure I drafted his handcuff. I said no one will get any type of piggyback off of my back. I said I am drafting his handcuff.
It's a hard thing. If this was like the late game or the 4:00 games on Sunday, then okay. I mean, you should have definitely prepared. This you can't really prepare for necessarily. You had to make that judgment call before, bare minimum before Sunday night. But that you're rolling the dice with that stuff, man. Like when you have an injury designation like that, he's also the franchise, so you're going to be a little bit more closer to the vest. You're not going to blow your load like that unless literally like, oh yeah, he lost his leg. Oh really? No, like literally if you look at the tape, his leg is at the 10-yard line and his body's at the 15. Like then you're like, well, I can't really, do anything with that. I can't really say, well, I mean, we're going to see how he looks at practice on Tuesday. It's like, no, he doesn't have a leg anymore. So, probably not going to be in practice. But, I just, it just annoyed me seeing that. It just really bothered me. Like people were ready to crucify the Niners for this. And I'm like, what are they supposed to do, man? Like they probably had an idea. They had an idea what was going on. They're like, hey, just so you're prepared, Jordan, because we know you're probably going to be shitty. We're not really trusting you because, you're like, when everyone's healthy, you're the third down back. Like you're the third back on the depth chart.
On the depth chart.
We're not really putting the ball in your court, but he ate. And that means nothing because it's week 1. He could literally come out next week and go 10 for 25. And there you go. That's fantasy football, boys. What happens?
Yeah. Overreactions, underreactions. That's why we always say you need at least 4 weeks and a little bit beyond to kind of get an idea of who is who. Because anybody can snap out for 1 week. It's really
right.
I mean,
Clayton Bigsby over there.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, we can take that on the other end. Like, what are the biggest disappointments of the week? I mean, some of the studs, and I mean studs, had duds.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
Sun God.
Yeah. Sun God.
Absolutely. I mean, Jameson Williams was like, I'm going to act like I know what I'm doing here, and I'm going to actually show the investment that was put into me. I don't hate if that is a sustainable thing. That is fine, because as a Sun God owner, and we're talking about Amon. The hell is his name? Oh my God,
Amon St. Brown.
Yeah. A
little bit of my stuff is rubbing off on you.
I'm so used to calling him Sun God that I'm like, wait, this dude actually has a first name, doesn't he? Okay. But it's only going to benefit him. And it's funny because once again,
because Jameson's going to take the top off the coverage. He's going to take those D-backs down the field, and Sun God, he lives in the intermediate type of route.
Yep.
So it just, if anything, it opens up his routes even more. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But once again, because the draft capital. I mean, he was my first round pick, and we all know how good my luck is with first round picks. Thank you, Austin Eckler last year. Hate you. The almost emotional, childish thing is like, oh God, here we go. No, it's it's not. It's a 17-week, or no, really, it's a 15-week fantasy season, regular season. So it's game one. It's game one. Settle down.
Yeah.
Like, if you base everything off of that, what are you doing, man? Like, is Jameson Williams now gonna? Is he now the GOAT? Is that what's gonna happen now? And is Mike Evans with his 2 tutties? Is he gonna now get 32 touchdowns this year? Is that what like that's? It's like, no, of course not. Oh, okay, if that's the case, then why would you think Jameson Williams is now? You know what I mean? It's a silly thing. It's a silly thing. But I mean, the other. I mean,
as far as drafting, though, I mean,
yeah,
you did draft very well. I mean, I think you got production out of pretty much everybody on your squad, right? I mean, except for the Sun God.
Yeah. I mean, funny enough, Kelsey.
Oh yeah, Kelsey.
Kelsey
and that Kelsey, the Mark Andrews. I got Terry McLaurin. Oh man, I'm truly hating Jaden McDaniels. It's like he didn't even try to attempt it to him.
Yeah.
All he did was back up and he's playing high school ball. I mean, like, and I don't know how long he's gonna get away with that one, but all he's doing is really calling hut, waiting till the receivers run out, and then start running. I'm like,
you know what? Funny enough, I really didn't. If I look at the, let me see, 1, 2, 3, we have 13 people starting?
Yeah.
So 2, 3, 4, 5.
I mean, I was looking at your score, and I was like, man, he really got production out of everybody, including the rookie McConkey got a touchdown.
My honky? Yeah, my honky. Absolutely. So out of the 13 players, only 8 exceeded their expected point total. So I know it seems like things went well, but Jalen Polk did nothing. Rico Dowdle didn't do anything. Gus Edwards, nothing. Adonai Mitchell. I mean, now I still believe, I believe in this guy, some kind of crazy fears, because he just missed 2 monster plays. They're going to get their connection, but he had a reception for 2 yards. That's all he got. That's it. St. Brown, I mean, 3 receptions for 13 yards, only 6 targets. I mean, this dude's usually getting 16 targets, so
yeah.
But it is one of those things where you stay in your lane. I mean, I was projected to get 246 points. I got 268. So I still, because other players balled out. But here's the, so it's, the draft is good. The draft's fine, but it's all about kind of, especially with this kind of league, you really do have to kind of pay attention what is happening on the field. Like McMillan only had that one. He had that one catch for the tutty, but he dropped another one. He's not getting a lot of passes his way, but you got Evans and Godwin's having a resurgence. It seems like that.
Godwin actually showed up all of a sudden. Mm-hmm.
Well, he moved to the slot, and he's like, "Oh, I'm comfortable here." And it's like, all right, well, let's try this. And think, "Oh, that works." Oh, there you go. But it's the things that you do need to pay attention to are the injuries, and obviously, we already went over the CMAC thing. Njoku. I think Cleveland needs all the help that they can possibly get. Honestly, I mean, that is going to hurt them. I don't care. That's fine, because
you're pay all that money for a quarterback that ain't no better than Justin Fields. That's sad. They paid all that money for Justin Fields.
Is it not the most Cleveland thing to happen though? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's just the most.
And another suit popped up out of nowhere too. I was like, what? Didn't he wasn't he done with all those lawsuits like 3 years ago now?
So there is some kind of clause where if something else pops up and is like, and I may be wrong here, so someone I have no issues kind of vetting this here for me, but I heard something along the lines if there's another thing that pops up and he is found guilty, Cleveland can just release him and the contract is null and void. So
well, at least they can get
I'm kind of
out of it.
wondering if
did they go find somebody
Mr.
like
Cleveland Brown was like, hey, Mrs. Cleveland Brown,
yeah,
here's what we need you to do. Where did he touch you on the doll? And then just kind of go that route.
yeah.
I think at this point they already knew they fucked up. They're like, oh God, damn it, this dude sucks.
I mean, Joe Flacco came in last year and was operating that team like a well-oiled machine. So it's like that's what my first thought. I mean, not in seriousness, but I was just thinking to myself, like, did someone in Cleveland do that? Because maybe they can release. I didn't know for sure if his contract had that in it, but I was thinking to myself, like, maybe if they can get rid of him and be off the hook with all that money, they would do it.
I heard it in passing. I don't know how credible it is, but I mean, and that's like a big, like, if that's true, like the whole, like everything that I said is true, like, and then them having someone like basically sabotage it to get him out. That is the dirtiest, most ballin' shit ever. So I like it. I don't know. Dude seems like a real prickish kind of person. So I'm like, yeah, dude, God don't like ugly. So sorry about your luck, but go fuck yourself, Cleveland.
Yeah.
That's what you get for dedicating $240 million to a guy that, was playing grab ass in a massage parlor. And it's like, what are you doing, man? Like, you haven't seen this dude play yet, and you're like, $240 million. What?
Guaranteed. Yeah.
The other injury news, and this is hurting me in both leagues. Mr. A-Chain here, or A-Chan, 2 Chains, whatever his name is. Sucks. But this is baked into his process. He is, and
so they're saying he's questionable because I got A-Chain in there.
He is the worst thing possible. He is a game time decision. That is,
I got to worry about that myself.
And it's Thursday. That's the only good part about it is you have time to pivot. You do not have to pivot to the 2 teams that are playing. You can pivot other places. Now, obviously, depending on your league, depending on the availability of things, that may sound easier said than done. I get it. Once again, same thing as McCaffrey. You don't really want to, I don't know. I mean, I know he was my first running back that I drafted. So he is.
See, that's why I didn't understand why he was going so high in the first place, because he is a smaller back, and he can't keep up.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
His upside is ridiculous, and if you had the opportunity to get Mostert with him, now obviously this week,
that would be like an awesome, nice flow play if you can trot both of them out there every week.
Well, yes and no, though, because you're only getting 50% of each person. So it's like, it's great from a handcuff standpoint, but you have to dedicate that equity to do that. And that's too much of a scary proposition unless you can trade for them at some point in the year, then okay. But having to draft both of those guys, knowing that they're both going to go kind of high-ish, you're basically, your 4th round pick is a handcuff. You don't want to do that. You know what I mean? So it would be nice, but you never know.
I'm just thinking, like, nice to see the points from both of them, but at the same time, like you said, I mean, Miami as a team is only going to score so many points, and it's not going to always go to them. So, yeah.
Right, and you still got Cheetah and Waddle there, so it's not like if they had no passing attack, then you could probably go with that and be like, well, if someone goes in the end zone, it's gonna be one of those motherfuckers, and then you're good. But I absolutely get your point. I'm not discrediting it by any stretch. I couldn't dedicate that equity into it. But that if you want the answer, I think it's because his upside is so stupidly good. He can definitely be hurt for 2 weeks, but then the next week he can come out and literally pop off a 90-yard run for no reason at all. And,
I mean, even his first week, I mean, how many points did he get you? I mean, he had a decent week. He definitely did.
Yeah, it wasn't anything great, I don't believe.
He had a touchdown.
Yeah, well, 10 rushes, only 24 yards.
But he had a touch.
Let me see here. Let me go to his game log here.
He had like 20 something.
One Russian TD, yeah. 7 receptions for 76 yards. That's where he
7 receptions. That's huge.
That's where he ate. It's not like it's not a bad week at all. It's not a bad week at all. I mean, he didn't have the rushing upside, but he's doing what he's made to do. He's doing what he is paid to do. Like, that is perfectly fine with me. So he has the worst designation possible. Well, not possible, but at least when you're active, he has the worst thing possible, a game time decision. My question to you, I guess, would be, do you jump in bed with maybe Jeff Wilson? Do you play him if he's out?
If A-Chain is out?
Yeah. Or do you just go to a different thing off your bench or a different,
different option altogether?
Okay.
That's not a Miami Dolphin. No, I'm talking about, that's what you're saying. A different option altogether. For Jeff Wilson? I mean, if Mostert's already ruled out and A-Chain's not playing, I would roll the dice with Jeff. Because I mean, the Miami back is that's like a San Francisco back. I mean, whatever back is there, they got a good chance to be productive. So I would roll out Jeff Wilson. Because and on top of that, he doesn't even have to look over his shoulder for anybody else.
They'll activate. Oh Christ, what is his name? Hold on, give me a sec. I can't think of his name.
I don't know Miami's other back.
I mean, Jalen Wright. Yeah, they'll activate Jalen Wright. He was a healthy scratch. He was their draft pick this year. He has like the speed of A-Chain and all that. So they'll activate him this week. So he'll have that to contend with. But it's also not. Well, yeah, it's fun. It's actually really funny that you compare Jeff Wilson to a San Fran back because he was literally a San Fran back.
San Fran back. Yeah. Mostert too.
That's yeah, shit. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that is funny. Yeah, I mean, depending what you got on there, I mean, it's not break glass in case of an emergency kind of thing, but
like a 12-team league or a 10-team league, a traditional league, I probably wouldn't throw Jeff Wilson out
in a
there.
convention.
But in this league where, you got potential to I don't imagine you having that all your spots locked up where Jeff Wilson can't get a crack at it. I mean,
right.
I don't know. Unless you just got ridiculous options on your bench. I mean, he's different of a roll of a dice than anybody else you maybe got on your bench. So I would give him a go.
Well, let's do this in real time here. All right.
Okay.
So, I mean, currently he's in my lineup, but I doubt he's going to do it. Now, mind you, another little injury that I have to deal with is T. Higgins, so we'll kind of deal with that thing.
What's going on there?
Oh, right. But I've moved and here's a little tip for everyone here that, may or may not kind of think about it. Make sure you move your Thursday players into the flex spot. Do not have them in their positional place, so you have pivot options, kind of like what I'm dealing with here. So, I'm not going to go with who I'm starting here, but I definitely did elevate Greg Dortch from the bench to a starting position here. Because I actually sat Jaden Reed, so we'll get into him. So McMillan is on my bench. Jaden Reed, Jalen Polk, which we already discussed, didn't do much of anything. Damian Pierce, which whatever, and then the new founded fella on my bench, Luke McCaffrey. So none of those, I'm not even considering Pierce as a running back right now because he's not going to get play, especially with what Mixon did, unless he's hurt, which he's not.
Say, Pierce would be lucky to even get a helmet or to even suit up.
Pretty much. So, now there is a universe where if Higgins ends up being okay, then there's my answer. But I don't think we're going to find that out before Thursday. I'm quite sure I'm going to have to
make that decision. Yeah.
Which, okay, whatever. That's fine.
What if you did make that decision and then Higgins rolls around? Who in your starting lineup would you pull down for Higgins? Dortch.
You son of a bitch. I would have to go. I would probably take McConkey out of the lineup because they're playing Carolina. They're not going to need to do too much. So
Carolina made the Saints look like the greatest show on turf or something. So yeah, right. Carolina, they're not going to need. And then the way Dobbins ran, they're probably not going to have to pass up like that. So yeah.
Right. Because the other options I have are St. Brown, Devontae Smith, Adnan Mitchell.
Not saying none of them. Oh,
right. So
Adnan Mitchell, I don't know. Still, the jury's out, so I don't know.
Yeah, but you know what? They're playing in Green Bay at Green Bay. I feel like they're going to come out there fired up, and I liked the downfield chucks from Richardson. So he may be one of those McCole Hardman, but with skill kind of players. So I'm okay with that. He barely missed. But yeah, if Higgins goes in, I can realistically, I still have the 3 flexes. I have Dowdle on 1 flex and Tyreek. The other Hill fella. That was a joke. So I could jump out Taysom Hill and be fine with that. But we'll see what's going on with Higgins. Who knows? It's a hammy, so it's always a pain in the ass. So you never really know. So chances are, I would, for anyone listening, I would probably plan to pivot from A-Chain. And whatever that looks like in your league, do it. But,
still.
It sucks.
The Bengals have to play Kansas City this week, and they're going to be trying to urge Higgins to play really bad. And they just came off of a terrible loss to the Patriots.
Yeah, I don't want to listen. We're not even talking about that because that was literally the game that I lost that 12-legger on. I would have won 1,200.
Yeah, that was the only.
Yeah,
that was the only one.
Only one.
Yep. Fucked. Yeah.
Right. Now, mind you, it was a free bet, so whatever. But still, it's like, God damn it!
One game.
Yeah.
Wow, you got 11.
It was a 12-legger, so it was like a Hail Mary in its own right. But I kind of know.
But who in the world didn't expect the Patriots? Nobody didn't expect the Bengals to at home to lose to the Patriots.
Yes.
Wow.
Bad times.
Yeah.
So we got a game tomorrow. The aforementioned Miami Dolphins and the Bills, dollar bill, y'all. I feel like this would be more interesting like last year. I don't know.
I just feel like we talked about, all the questions surrounding Buffalo's passing game, and I feel like we still don't have any answers.
No, they played Arizona. They played Arizona. That's like
They was getting beat on too at the beginning.
I
It was
know.
losing like 17-0. So I still don't know who's the go-to guy in Buffalo. I just don't.
They don't either. You're still gonna go with Josh. I mean, you can't go away from him. The Coleman kid looked good.
Shakir.
Obviously, Tupac Shakir. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen there until we've talked about the whole wait 4 weeks. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a team you need to wait 4 weeks for until you can really start anybody in a wide receiver standpoint with any okay, I would feel confident that I would get this baseline. Maybe Coleman's the only one, but I don't know. Maybe that's because I'm a little biased to him. I like him, but I don't know. I don't see. I mean, they're obviously going to need to score. That's the thing. I mean, they're going to have to throw it. I mean, Kincaid, obviously. I mean, I would say if the number one is anybody, it's Kincaid. But
I didn't hear if he did anything last week. I don't think he couldn't have done nothing big because he didn't.
No, pretty much all of the main tight ends flopped a little bit. So.
All of them, yeah, except for Likely. Likely was probably the only tight end that.
Yeah, but I'm saying top tight end,
the
guys that you drafted that you cared about that you thought were like bang, 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 bang. None of them really
nobody.
Did
Nobody went off at tight end this whole weekend.
Which once again reinforces the idea that people are like meh on tight ends anyway. But do not panic. They are highly drafted players for a reason. Like if you're are you going to go drop St. Brown because he had a bad week? Oh, you're not? Okay, well, then settle down about McBride and Andrews and Kelsey. It's going to be fine. It's going to work out. At the end of the day, they're still going to have a grandiose more points than their than their peers that are a tier below them. They're going to blow them out of the water like they always do. You just have to deal with it. Teams are looking like it, and that's the thing. You got to remember there is another team on the other side of the field. They're well aware of their skill players as well. So if I'm playing Buffalo, you're damn right. I'm shadowing the hell out of Kincaid. Absolutely, You're not going to beat me. No. So I don't know. I mean, and same with Andrews. That's the exact same thing with Andrews. He was getting triple covered, literally triple covered. If he had a normal coverage on, likely would be unlikely to be important. Kelsey, I don't know. They're feeding Noah, but they kind of treat him the same way. So, and
Kelsey gets tripled, So they brought in all those other pieces so he don't get tripled. So,
so
your Riche Rice, your Worthy, your Marquise Brown, and that's
they're gonna see that next week, and then you're gonna see another Kelsey game where he's like, okay, here's your 4 for 70 and a tutty. And everyone's gonna be like, oh, I knew it. It's like, no, you didn't. Shut up, stop it. You were ready to burn him at the stake. Christ almighty. Just settle down. But yeah, I mean, you got the Dolphins on the other side. I mean, obviously you're gonna get, Hill, Waddle, those folks, and if you're feeling frisky, you can chuck out Wilson there if A-Chain's on, not there, but I would probably look other places. I wouldn't rely on Jeff Wilson to get you out the blocks there with, a great game. He probably won't have a terrible thing, but I'm quite sure that you're going to find something better on your bench.
You already sound like you talked yourself out of it. So you sound like you made your decision already.
No, I don't have him. I mean, I have him in the other league. But
okay.
Yeah, he's not playing. He's just an insurance. Yeah, he's just sitting on the bench just for future reference if something does kind of happen you know, and it lines up with bye weeks on top of that, then I kind of already have it built in because that's that one that's that 20 league or that 20 team league.
20 team.
So, you know, if you have a chance to snatch something up like that, you do it while you can, where it doesn't cost you anything, and then you know, kind of go from there. But and this one, I got plenty of options to go to. I'm just not excited to have to not play my horse here, you know. But who wins? Who do you think here? Let's get a.
Where is the game?
Yeah,
Buffalo.
Let's get some statistics here for the game because we're not going to go into what happened last week. We already know all that.
Yeah,
you know, we talked around it. We don't need to delve into it. If you want that, go watch ESPN. Stupid. I guess one thing we can talk about is Steelers still look like shit, so that's great.
I hate it so bad. I hate watching
Steelers.
I hate watching small ball. I mean, that's all the Steelers are is a small ball. That whole high school. I hate high school football. It's like, okay, pass when you have to.
It's at Miami, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah. So 87 degrees is the, you know, guesstimate here. Yeah.
I like Miami.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Even without, does that change if A-Chain is not in, or is that still across the board Miami?
Yeah, that's what A-Chain or not A-Chain. Yeah.
Same here. Too much of a
still think mine. It's just too many question marks with Buffalo. I mean, like you said, they don't even know.
How are you stopping Hill? Like that's always the thing. How are you stopping Hill? You got rid of your best corner last year. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? I don't know what you do with him. Sorry.
And you think Hill was more motivated with the whole arrest thing or detainment thing?
He got arrested before the game last game. He's still like, I'm going to go for a hundo. So, fuck you
no,
guys.
I'm talking about, did you think that added extra motivation for him?
No, because he just does Tyreek Hill things. Like, that's, if he was like a 60-yard guy, you know, with, you know, a touchdown every other game, then I would say, yeah, he definitely was more motivated. But this was an okay game for him.
Yeah. It was BAU, business as usual for him.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think Miami, it should be entertaining, but I wish it was a little bit more entertaining. I feel like if we had more of an idea what Buffalo is, I'd be more excited about it. But I'm not like, oh man, this is like the Jets and the Giants, or no, it's nothing like that. But I'm just like, all right, well, it could be competitive, maybe.
I mean, it's early, but I usually just Thursday night games anyway. I try to stay away from them because it's like, but it seems like that's a trend. I mean, during the regular season, the Thursday night games, they turn out to be duds as far as fantasy wise. But this is the second week of the season, and you know, I'm not sitting anybody because still too many questions to be answered.
Drafted, basically, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just happy to say we have football tomorrow. See if it all pans out. But yeah, so good stuff. So who you expecting anyone kind of in general this week to pop off, or you just, I mean, I know it's super early, obviously, but you know.
Am I expecting anything to go down? A certain player or something like that?
Like any sneaky starts here you're thinking about playing, or you just kind of anything you saw last week that kind of makes you think a little bit differently for this week, or you know?
Not really. I mean, I want to see how the Rams, you know, I want to see how the Rams deploy this. You know, is Demarcus Robinson going to become that dude? I mean, because Puka definitely became that dude, for the Rams outside of Cooper Cup. Like Demarcus Robinson is always, he came on strong at the end of the last year, but he was still the third receiver. Now he's being elevated into number 2. So it's like, what does that mean?
Yeah. Well, we're going to find out real quick.
Yeah. And like I said, I want to see.
But Cooper was hurt like so much last year. So kind of wasn't. Like he was kind of number 2 for a while.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Because it was like Puka. Puka just came out, totally nowhere and just he ate up the scene. And then, Cup was coming back and then I think he left back out. Yeah. So, I guess DeMarcus was kind of like de facto number 2.
Yeah. Because the end game was pretty bad. Because Higbee blew out his ACL kind of towards the end of the year there, and they got
their new tight end. They were peppering him with targets. That Parkinson, they were. He was getting some targets. I definitely took notice to that. I was like, wow, I'm throwing it to him. Yeah. I'm anxious to see. Like, I really think that. T. Higgins. I know it's a hamstring and all that, but I think they're going to really push him to play because they got to play Kansas City Kansas City. They're not. They need him just to even remain competitive. They need him.
I think he sits. I think they're going to try to. I think they're going to approach this kind of from like a, let's see the forest for the trees here. What is Chase doing? Is he just going to sit for any type of reason? Any type of my toe hurts, I'm going to sit. So I think they have to kind of play it real safe with Higgins and kind of coddle Chase a little bit and coerce him to play. Like, so at least they can have a healthy wideout whenever Chase decides to throw his little fucking pity party thing. So. I don't have any insider knowledge or anything. I just would know I would approach it that way. And you are going to need that, but also you don't know what Chase is going to do. You don't know if Chase is just going to sit out this game because if the team isn't going to really, if they're not trying to pay him, then why am I going to try to be competitive for this team that isn't trying to pay me? Like that. There's so many little stupid little variables and dumb little storylines that are happening here that it's like, we just play ball and just like.
See, I don't know if I said it on this show, but I told everybody this was coming for Cincinnati as far as them not being able to keep both of those receivers in the building. That's what when they made it. Yeah, I said when they made it to the Super Bowl, I said they need to win now. That window's closing, and that window isn't closing because they're not competitive. That window's closing because they can't keep the core. They can't pay them all.
Right, you got a diva, then you got a oftentimes injured player. Like that is not a good combination. Then you got 2 tight ends that are like, maybe.
That's the formula that you got to win in the NFL. You got to win with rookies on their rookie contract because once they get past that. You only got enough money to keep one. Like when Dallas had CeeDee Lamb and then they had Amari Cooper, I was like, why didn't you keep both of them? Because they seen what was coming down the pipe. They had to pay CD. Right. So it's just like, that's why teams can't really support 2-3 monster receivers. The Eagles are doing it.
So stupid. If these people weren't so fucking egotistical.
The Eagles are doing it.
No, but maybe that's because they actually have some people with some heads on their shoulders. Like, hey, let me take a bit of a cut. You take a bit of a cut so we can win.
Yeah.
I don't know. Shit makes sense to me. But instead, let me make 15 extra million a year and potentially
probably not go anywhere. Probably only get to the first round of the playoffs. But I got paid.
Right. You got paid. Cool. That's great. You're a great team player. That's wonderful. Awesome. You're going to go down with all of the not having rings, but and I get it. Some people that matter, some people that doesn't. I don't know. I'm too competitive for my own good. I personally would look at it like I will take a cut. I'll take. I mean, you're not going to pay me $7, but like, I'll take a cut so you can go sign somebody, or you can reallocate the funds somewhere here. Maybe get my quarterback.
See, now some of the problems I had with Ben Roethlisberger, because I remember towards the back end of his career, he was not willing to take a cut so we can sign some more players. But Tom Brady, he would take a cut in a heartbeat and he kept winning the championships. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, you got to make some sacrifices if you want to be a champion or remain a champion. You do.
Well, just a bit of a character. Show a character, man. That's all it is. Show a character. Because realistically, what is the difference between 60 million compared to 70 million? Like, really, what's the difference, man? Honestly, like how is
like
that?
when you get to 60 million, you're gonna run out and be like, couldn't buy what I needed to buy because I needed that extra 10 million. Not to dismiss the meaning of $10 million, but whatever you needed to buy with the 60 million.
Like, you don't see a punter doing this shit. You don't see a kicker doing this. You see the wideouts. You see the quarterbacks. You see the running backs. You see the guys that are making the fat three-figured, or no, seven, or no, not seven figures. What the fuck would it be? Like the 9-figure contracts, like the 8-figure contracts, like that. Those are the people that you're seeing that are causing their kerfuffle. Like, I want to get my 90 million guaranteed, but you're only giving me 80 guaranteed. What the fuck do you need all that money for?
Hey.
Like, that's
like, just even Jamar Chase. Like, they said they gave him the exact same contract as Justin Jefferson.
Like,
I want more. Like, what?
I don't want a penny more. I want to beat the shit out of JJ. Did you see that quote?
Yeah.
I'm like,
wow.
You are such a cunt.
So you play just to beat Justin Jefferson. You don't have any other motivational goals but to beat Justin Jefferson.
I mean, I feel like we have seen that at this point. So yeah, I would say the answer to that is yes. I would say the answer to his egotistical, because it's not about the money. He realizes he can live off of whatever he is living off of right now very, 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 very easily. But I need to make my line in the sand and make more than him, and which is not going to help anybody, because now everyone's going to try to outbeat that. So, like, and who do you think pays for that? Who do you think pays for that? The people watching the game.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's a whole thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like if I got him on my fantasy team, or I'm a Cincinnati fan and I'm rooting that, and he scores a touchdown. If he scored a touchdown making 20 million a year and he scored a touchdown making 40 million a year, it doesn't change for me. I'm still just the same exact. I don't say, oh my God, he scored and he's getting paid 36 million. Right. Doesn't mean a thing to me.
Like residuals from it. It's like, no, that's not how this happens. But what it does happen though is every time he scores, you're like, damn it, my taxes went up this year.
Yeah. Every time he scores, you should look at the beer you got in your hand or the nachos in your thing and be like, no wonder this is $20 a dang on plate. I'm paying for him.
That's how it works, man. Vicious cycle. But defend your man, I guess. Whatever. Just don't see the forest for the trees, I guess. And until owners really kind of say like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. And like, well, I'll sit out. Okay.
I would tell them, as soon as they said I'll sit out, I'll write down the number on a piece of paper and be like, here's Le'Veon Bell's number. Go give him a call and ask him how that turned out.
Yeah, that worked out. Yeah. Now he just yells at clouds on Twitter. So it's like, okay, cool. But until owners really kind of make that stand and say, like, no, you're not going to hold. We're like, you're like negotiating with us. Like, you are a rookie draft pick. Motherfucker, we can do this again. It may be hard.
See, most organizations cave, but I mean, that's one thing about the Steelers. mean, they cheat, and I mean, they've spent more money over the years, but they used to be extremely cheap. And they take their stance. Like, they really took the stance with Le'Veon. It was just like, sit out, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. And he did.
Yeah.
His career has not been the same since. He doesn't even have a career now. So
he does.
Yeah.
He does. He went and made a rap album, and that was a train wreck. That was quite funny to watch that. I'm like, oof.
Yeah.
This is why you played football, wasn't it, bub? Got it. All right. Good deal. Yeah. But anyway, should be an interesting game. You know, we got more to talk about on Saturday. You know, we'll kind of break down the other games and go through all that.
Break down the matchups. Yep.
Talk about Saturday or talk about Thursday and kind of the fallout from that. See if A-Chain kind of came through or not. But yeah, so good deal. I like it.
Yeah, who do you play this week? In
that daddy guy.
Oh,
I play daddy. I play daddy.
I gotta play Bob again, man. I gotta get some revenge, please. Gosh, man.
Yeah, this is an ass whooping incoming here.
I'm already 0-1. Like I said, the boy Will, he done crushed the lights out of my fantasy
I'm
team.
Two, so you got the dynamic sperm couple here. You got the he's number one, I'm number two. But,
yeah. I just need some of my picks to hit. Somebody got to step up because, I'm dealing with Joe Burrow against New England. I thought he was going to slam dunk that for like at least 50 points.
What did I tell
Still
you?
got like 20 points.
That. We're not talking about that. Fuck you and you losing your 1 week as Joe Burrow. I lost $1,200. Leave me alone. I'm gonna hold out this week until I get paid my $1,200. How about that?
Man, he said, "I don't want to hear about the Bengals anymore."
Really I try. I've done my best to make peace with it, but God bless America, man. That just. Oh.
All right, yeah, man. We got
the craziest part about that whole thing is there's a few games there that were a little on the fence, but they ended up coming through. I think it was like the Denver one.
Denver Seattle game.
Denver winning, and they were looking a little rough.
Yeah,
pulled it out. There was another one there too. I forget which one it was, but didn't matter.
But to get 11 to 12, right, man? That's hard to do.
and like one of the easiest picks was the Cincy game. I'm like,
that was first on your list. Like, check that one off. And then what did we say at the end of the broadcast last time? I was like, you should, but any given Sunday, and here we go.
Yeah. Ugh, gross.
Yeah, I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
All right.
Is what it is. So listen, we got the Patreon up here. The link's down at the bottom. So contribute to the show if you want. It's appreciated. It goes back into the show, so that's always helpful. We should have our logos. So I have the 3 waiting for the other logo to come out. He's going to fix up the little part. He's a little busy, so he's getting to it. But it's bought and paid for, so that's all good. So you'll kind of see those coming up, and then we'll start talking about the whole merch thing and go from there. But always appreciate any help that you guys can do. I know this is a late recording, so hopefully give it a listen tomorrow at some point. I'll upload it. But we will see. I guess we won't see anybody till Saturday. So we'll do the baseball at 8, and I guess 9:30 for football, right?
Good. Sounds good to me.
Now, what time do you want to start this on Wednesdays? Is this the time that you want to do it, or are you good at 9:30, or what's your deal here?
Yeah,
because I set it to be scheduled, but if we can do it, earlier, I'm absolutely not mad about that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't go at 9 on the dot or 9:30. Sometimes 9:30 is I'm still finishing up things. So if I could start earlier, I would text you and say, hey, we can start earlier. But yeah, 10 o'clock kind of gives me a nice little buffer.
Okay, no worries. That is perfectly fine. Just keep it at 10 on Wednesdays unless otherwise noted. But don't also feel obligated to push your way through. So, all right, good deal. So we'll see everyone on Thursday or
Saturday.
That day, one of the days. I was going to get there eventually. So good luck on Thursday, except for my opponents, and we'll see you.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Boo!